Is your child headed in the right direction? Today I want to teach you a little test, how you can look at your child and determine if they're headed in the right direction. We're going to talk about lateralization, also known as cerebral dominance. So we move through a sequence of events in order to make sure that our nervous system is actually responding to open windows of development, things are being integrated, and that child is exploring its world. During those first 3 years, babies' heads grow at an enormous rate. They're bigger than any other time of their life. It's called neurogenesis. And what's happening as that child is being exposed to its environment, it's actually creating new neurons. And it's practicing efficient pathways in order for it to process information about what's going on in their vision, how they're interpreting sound. That's one is so interesting to me. When you come into this world, you only pick up low frequency sounds. You literally take the first 3 years of your life to acquire the middle ranges and the high ranges. Meanwhile, what's going on inside of the anatomy is you're actually repositioning those low frequency sounds all the way from the base to the apex, laying down all the other frequencies that you're able to hear. So we look at what's going on in a particular sense as to when a child is also learning how to perform a motor milestone. So we look at gross motor, fine motor, social skills, communication, and adaptation. Now, adaptation really relates back to that sympathetic nervous system, as we've been talking about in earlier videos. But today we want to look at how those milestones that they've been moving through, they're actually a sequence of events. And it's absolutely necessary to go from one event to the other. Even if a child misses part of those steps, we must understand that it actually changes interpretation or adaptation of the neurology. It does matter if your child is moving through things too quickly or if your child is delayed. Being right on time or maybe within a month is ideal. So if you've noticed that your child is moving too quickly or is delayed, it's time to get them evaluated. That's exactly what we do over here is a developmental assessment. That is the heart of Connect My Brain. But today I'd like to give you an opportunity to have a tool that you could look at your child. So cerebral dominance is about the organization of all function in the brain. So for example, you have everything on both sides of your brain. The need to talk is on your right. The work of talk is on your left. In order to have a conversation, just as I'm doing with you right now, there has to be the right communication between both hemispheres. So you have to be organized. So the way to tell if your child is organized, you want to be able to see what side do they prefer. So by the 3rd birthday, your child will go through a process called pruning. And literally what's going to happen during pruning is whatever pathway is not efficient, it is going to be cleaved away. It's going to be taken away. So what we get left over is that declaration of dominance on one side or the other. And it really does matter because it represents organization. And this is also what's associated with the label dyslexic. So dyslexia is not just about seeing something backwards. It's about not using the most efficient pathway in order to communicate all information in your brain. So this is the way that you can do it. You'll need a few items. You need a big fat pencil. You need some kind of phone. You know, one day there's going to be a kid that walks in here and has no idea what this is. A kaleidoscope or a paper towel roll and a ball. Now, what I want you to do, I don't want you to favor one side over the other. I'd like you to hand this to your child right in the midline and see which hand your child grabs the kaleidoscope and which eye do they place the kaleidoscope up to. Write those things down. Let your child draw a picture of you. Write down which hand your child drew the picture with. Hand a telephone, and it can be your cell phone. It's really better to use a phone that a child is familiar with. What hand did they grab with? Which ear did they place it up to? Lastly, take a ball, roll it to their foot. What foot do they kick with? I want you to write all these items down. If your child lines up all on the same side, great. Development is headed in a great direction. But if it doesn't, it's called mixed laterality. And I hope to hear from you soon.